Oh, good.
Yeah, it's more about frames for
Oh,
the
we
workshop.
are?
Yeah,
For
we're
the
gonna go
workshop?
for the workshop.
Oh, we didn't even plan that. Oh, see, I didn't tape it well.
All
I
right.
was just so pleased with
So we were
myself.
having an issue, a technical issue,
Kinda like
and I'm
those
going to use,
frames.
and I have this here. So we were trying to scan something into the machine, and what we were noticing every time we scanned, it was cutting off the top and the bottom of the scan, and we're like, why isn't it scanning everything in the hoop? And the reason, and this applies as the hoops get bigger, this issue actually gets to be a bigger issue because what you've got is this hoop here is the 9.5 by 14 inch hoop. Mm-hmm. And if you actually measure this hoop,
Did you get mine in yet, by the way?
I did not. I got the squares in, but nothing. But if you actually measure this hoop inside from here to here, how far do you think that is?
It's probably about 14 and a half.
14 and a half. So from here to here, because it's 9.5 by 14, from here to here you think 14 and a half. No, actually that is closer to 17 inches.
Oh, it's well. You didn't tell me to get my measuring tape out.
And I've got a thing that I can show you. And
Where's
this
that
is,
nice measuring tape you gave me?
I don't know.
Somebody lifted my retractable
It's right
measuring
here.
tape.
You mean that one right there?
Yeah, this pretty one.
All right, so yeah, measure that for us, just so we can show.
Yeah, it's close to 17.
It's closer to 17. Now keep that in mind.
But
So
the
this,
embroidery field is 14.
this embroidery field is only 14. So when you put
Gotcha.
this in your machine, in a drew machine to scan it in, it's not going to scan the 17 inches in
Right.
because it's looking for 14 inches.
Right.
So you're not going to get the whole thing. So this is true on all of most of the brother hoops and probably across the board. Is the hoops
10 and a half that way.
Yeah, the hoops are actually bigger than the stated field, and the machine is only going to actually work in the field it's programmed for. And to really visualize this, this is the grid that comes with your machine. You want to zoom in on that for me, Eddie? That's the actual factory grid that comes with the machine. This grid
With the
here
hoop
is the
comes with
actual
it.
stitch area. Notice all of that extra space you have at the top and the bottom. Not so much on the sides, but you do have you're not going tight to the sides. So when you're laying out your design in your hoop, keep in mind that even though it's a 9.5 by 14, like I said, this hoop measures closer to 17. You want to center your design for the most part because if you're too close to the bottom, you may get cut off when as you're moving stuff around.
Yeah.
And like I said, as the hoops get bigger, that discrepancy between the actual interior size of the hoop versus the actual stitch field is going to get bigger because I believe it's some sort of percentage of the overall size. So it grows because if you do this with the 10.5 by 16, you're going to find that I want to say the 16 is closer to 19 inches or 20 inches.
Yeah.
So that's just something to keep in mind. Like smaller 4x4 hoops, you probably only got maybe a half inch or quarter inch around the edge. But keep that in mind that your hoops are actually bigger than the stitch field. That's on purpose so that you don't hit things with it. But that can also cause problems if you're really close
you have
to
to think about where you're putting your
if you have a design that is 9 1/4 by 13 3/4, you've only got a 1/4 inch either way, and if you're too far south in your hoop, it's not going to recognize. It's going to say that you're out of the hoop area, even though it looks like it's in the hoop.
That's another tip. What I do sometimes for this very reason is I'll put my projector on before I place my fabric all the way in, like I'll put my hoop on, lay my fabric down, throw the projector down, so I know where the smart place in my hoop has to be before I completely commit.
Yep.
Because sometimes it's higher or sometimes it's lower.
Sometimes lower,
depending on where you connect.
And like I said, and depending on your hoop size, like I said, that discrepancy between the actual size of the hoop and the stitch field it can vary.